Penelope, we are live.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Greetings from Lebanon. It is with profound honor and enthusiasm that I welcome you to the fourth International Virtual Conference hosted by Women Ascension in partnership with Entrepreneurs École. Our theme, Accelerate Action for All Women and Girls, Rights, Equality, and Empowerment, reflects our shared commitment to developing a world where every woman and girl can grow and flourish to her fullest potential. Women Ascension is a global nonprofit organization focused on empowering women and advancing the Sustainable Development Goals across 93 countries and every continent. Since its inception in 2021, the organization has achieved remarkable milestones, facilitating over 18 scholarships, expanding skills development training for more than 12,500 women, and mentoring 30 plus women entrepreneurs, providing them with essential support and investment opportunities. Today's session, titled Freedom from Poverty, Innovating Pathways to Economic Resilience, invites us to explore powerful transformative strategies that break cycles of poverty and lay the foundation for long-term economic empowerment. We are honored to host a distinguished panel of speakers who are at the forefront of championing women's rights and economic inclusion globally. Before we explore today's dialogue, allow me to introduce myself. I am Penelope Akoum, the country representative for Lebanon at Women Ascension. As a corporate lawyer with a background in legal affairs and strategic consulting, I have had the privilege of aligning my legal practice with a deep passion for gender equity and social empowerment. My journey extends beyond boardrooms. Through my active engagement with Women Ascension, I continue to contribute to thought leadership and advocacy for women's advancement. As a moderator and speaker, I've led conversations around peace building, economic development, and legal frameworks that uplift women. My mission is to bridge the gap between legal reforms and grassroots empowerment, shaping inclusive platforms where policy meets purpose. Please note this session is invite only on Zoom, but it's also being broadcast live on YouTube to ensure global accessibility and participation. Each of our speakers today brings a unique insight and live experiences that will truly enrich this platform. As we explore together, may we find inspiration to make meaningful actions towards inclusive economic opportunities for all women and girls. Now let's begin by introducing our esteemed speakers. Our first speaker will be Miss Stacey Beaven. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Stacey is from Malta. Allow me to introduce you, please. Ms. Stacey is a global leadership transformation coach and digital strategist with nearly 2 decades of experience in empowering and organizations and individuals to excel in leadership and navigate the evolving digital landscape. As a Google-approved trainer and public speaker, Stacey engages audiences with compelling presentations and creates customized training programs focused on digital marketing, effective communication, and leadership. Stacey's expertise spans a wealth of knowledge, equipping others with the skills needed to create and execute successful marketing strategies. She is passionate about sharing cutting-edge insights that foster growth, innovation, and success in today's competitive marketplace. Stacey, we can't wait to listen to you. The floor is all yours.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Right, I'm going to share my screen. You won't be able to see me, but you'll definitely hear me. Bear with me. Okay. Okay, can you all see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So today I'm going to be bringing my perspective on freedom for poverty, innovating pathways to economic resilience. My name is Stacey Beaven. Thank you for the great introduction. But I am currently focused on my new company, which is Pursue the Pull, and I am the CEO and founder. Now, Pursue the Pull is a podcast, social community, and soon to be an app that supports entrepreneurs on their journey from idea, launch to success. And this is through interviews, resources, training, and a lot more. So the focus for me is to firstly define the importance of empowering women and girls. And this is where I define it as economic empowerment, which enables women to be financially independent, which drives both personal and societal change, which allows us to fully participate in the economy. For me, as a single parent, I had no choice. Not only did I have to become the provider for my family, I had the need and desire to demonstrate that against all the challenges, I could become successful, not only within my own home, but within my community, and break the cycles of poverty and inequality. Now, today, I'm going to help you explore community-led solutions and innovative practices that I personally used, and that will also hopefully provide empowerment for women and girls worldwide. So I faced a lot of challenges when I tried to initially pursue a career in the corporate world. I faced a lot of barriers. I'm not only a woman, but I'm a woman of colour and also a single parent. So my journey out of poverty wasn't exactly easy. And some of the challenges I actually faced were things like sexism. I did get a lot of that. Gender inequality and wage gaps. Now that still exists today. And I'm still experiencing that to date. Limited access to education and resources. Now, educational opportunities may have been inaccessible to me at the time due to high costs. And again, I was a single parent, but also there was a lack of childcare support. Now, without relevant training, women and single parents struggle to enter higher paying industries or entrepreneurship. So I had these restrictions at the time. Flexible work opportunities. Now, many industries, they don't offer the flexibility needed by single parents, juggling work and caregiving responsibilities. And this then restricts access to jobs that could provide that financial stability. There's also social and cultural constraints. So traditional gender roles and societal expectations can limit economic participation for women, particularly in regions where cultural norms restrict education and employment. So these barriers, they really affect women and single parents. They trap them into cycles of poverty with limited opportunities for financial growth and stability. I was determined to succeed against all the odds and all of the challenges that I had. So what I did is I created a strategy. It was kind of a strategic approach, and I knew what I had to do to succeed. So there were 4 areas that I really honed in on. The first one was mindset, and in the next few slides, I will elaborate on these further. The second one was knowledge. The third one was community, and then finally, faith and resilience. So when it comes to mindset preparation, I actually had a mentor in the early stages, and we actually discussed the topic of money. I didn't realise at the time that I actually had a weird kind of relationship with the thought of money, and this was actually affecting my ability to grow. I actually felt that money was evil because I associated it that way, and I had limitations on what I thought I could and should earn as a woman. And through my sessions, I had to work on these areas, but I didn't know that I had these kind of issues and these kind of mindset. So I had to work to change that. I then began to think of money as a tool that could be used for good. And yes, there are bad people with money, but imagine if good people had more money. So I was self-sabotaging my own success. So I really had to work on that element of mindset. I also had limited beliefs. I didn't believe in myself. I had to work on my confidence and almost challenge the beliefs that I did have for myself. I also had a lot of fear. So I had to overcome this. Now, I do a lot of interviews on my podcast with entrepreneurs, and every single one of them that I've interviewed have fear. So what I actually learned is you have to face that fear, and on the other side of fear is growth. So I had to find a way to overcome this self-doubt and this fear that I had. So I had to work on this mindset and this belief that I had about myself. Then I had to look at how to stay focused and motivated, because as an entrepreneur, it can be a lonely journey. There's a lot of challenges that I mentioned earlier and more. So for me, it was important to remind myself of the why and why I'm doing this. So I had to keep thinking, okay, these are the reasons why I'm doing it. And speaking to other entrepreneurs and other women, they do have the same thoughts where they think, it's just easy to give up. I'll just go back into, a full-time role. I won't continue with this journey. It's too difficult. But then you have to remember why. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted to come out of poverty. I wanted to, do something for my children as a single parent. And these were some of the reasons why, and I just had to remind myself of that every time I started losing that bit of motivation. I also had to work on my mindset because I was full-time employed, and then I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So I had to have this transformation mindset. I had to think differently to prepare myself for the entrepreneurial world. And also I had to manage my emotions and my mental wellness. I had therapy. I gave up things like alcohol. I had to be mentally prepared for the challenges that I was going to face, and I had to be mentally strong. And there's no shame in having therapy. I think it's a brave and amazing thing to do. So there's no harm in having help. But for me, the mindset part was the first path, the first thing that I had to do along this journey that I was about to face. The second area was knowledge.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just need to remind you that we're tight on time. So if we can wrap up within a minute or two, that would be amazing.
Okay, cool. I will speak fast. All right. The second area is knowledge. Obviously, knowledge is power. When I used to go into these board meetings and I used to have men look at me and they really didn't want me there and they didn't like me being there, one of the things that helped me to overcome that was my knowledge. They could question me in every area, but they could never question my knowledge. So developing your skills in your area of focus, having education and, progressing those skills is a really important factor. And there's loads of things out there. And then finally, my journey to entrepreneurship. There was a lot of community-led solutions out there. There's a lot of women's cooperative groups. There was health initiatives, educational programs. Social media for moms was a new thing that was out as well. So there was a lot of support and training, digital literacy and e-learning platforms. So there was a lot of support and community-led solutions that enabled me to thrive. And finally, one of the most important areas for me was faith and resilience, faith in having faith for myself, but also faith from a religious perspective. I don't think I would be here today if I didn't have that faith. And then resilience, making sure I was mentally resilient by having financial literacy, having all of this knowledge where I could be resilient as a person. Thank you. And that's it from me.
Thank you so much, Stacey. It was so insightful. Now we're moving to a different speech with Dr. Bianca from Romania. Dr. Bianca is a sustainability and gender advocate pursuing a PhD in sustainability and gender equality with a corporate and academic background. She works on international collaborations, charity, and social impact throughout a nonprofit club, promoting peace and support for vulnerable communities. Dr. Bianca, please, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen, as well as presentation and slideshow. So thank you for attending this page, organized by Women's Ascension Association, and thank you for having me. So who am I? My name is Bianca Cuibus, and I'm currently pursuing a PhD in sustainability and gender equality policies within the private sector. Therefore, I am really keen in researching on how companies can improve sustainability matters on gender equality and also vice versa. As well as also how they can disclose the information about equity between the individual and so on in the corporate world. I am from Romania. That's where also where I pursued my my studies. and where I am currently studying at University Pabes-Bolyai. Also, if you want afterwards to reach out, you can find me on LinkedIn or via my email address in the presentation. Now, to begin with, I first want to address the question, so why do we need the economic empowerment for women? So firstly, women represent the backbone of local economies, yet they face systemic barriers to financial independence. It has been proven that by UN Women that in their 2018 report, women reinvest 90% of their income into their families and communities compared to 40% for men. And also the European Investment Bank proved that investing in women, it will later lay the foundation for a more inclusive economic growth and a stronger, more stable communities. But now, in order to achieve economic resilience, it is not just about income, but also access to opportunities, leadership, and financial autonomy. Therefore, in this session, I am aiming to highlight community-led solutions and innovations, as well as real success stories that can drive an impact in the economic world for women. Moving forward, from an economical perspective, we believe that there are three key pillars of economic development. So firstly, as mentioned previously, equity in the workplace, which means some opportunities provided for both men and women, closing the gender pay gap, some diverse board membership, and also access to management positions. Second will be initiative towards skills development and education. So therefore, we are talking about vocational training and mentorship programs, as well as digital literacy and tech-based education for entrepreneurship. The last pillar, we would believe that it will be market access and entrepreneurship support, which means supporting the participation of women in the labor force, local cooperatives, and women-owned businesses, as well as access to e-commerce and digital platforms which enable market reach. Moving forward to dive deep into the subject of solutions and innovations for women, so the first pillar will first tackle the topic of equality in opportunities. So it has been proven that companies with more female directors are more likely to engage in sustainability reporting and external assurance, as well as higher female representation in executive roles and in board membership improves the corporate sustainability reporting. Countries with lower gender gaps, meaning higher gender equality, have more companies with at least 3 women in their boards. Boards with at least 3 female directors can significantly improve diversity, equity, and inclusion transparency. As well as government mandated gender quotas can also positively impact the gender diversity. So as best practices, the European Union adopted a gender equality strategy for 2020 and 2025, along with directives that address, firstly, the work-life balance, the pay transparency directive, the Women on Boards directive, and also the directive on combating violence against women and domestic violence. Another example for innovation and progress towards gender equality is actually the Netherlands, as in terms of dedicated support structures that enhance equity. The responsibility of the Netherlands for gender equality lies within a separate unit of the Ministry of Education, Culture and Science. So therefore, a concrete action toward achieving gender equality and thus SDG 5 is the adoption of the Dutch diversity law, which has been effective since 1st of January 2022. And it stipulates that organizations listed on the Dutch Stock Exchange must have at least 33% women on supervisory boards and executive committees. One important thing to mention, it has been proven that firms are more likely to report gender-related information if competitors do so. Moving on to the next pillar, so the second one, other initiatives which tackle the topic.
Bianca, you still have 2 more minutes, so.
Okay, I'll wrap it up. Thank you. So other measures encouraged by the European Union that support gender equality. It's actually still the Netherlands, which has made significant progress under gender equality in academia and STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields. So they have an Espacia program which provides financial incentives to university if they promote fellow female researchers to higher academic grades, such as associate or full professorship, as well as they have the Girls' Day, in which they encourage young girls to pursue careers in STEM. And the event involves more than 300 companies and research institutions that open their doors to young girls aged between 10 and 15 in primary and secondary education. And other initiatives, so the third pillar would be the Romanian Bank, one of the world's one of Romania's largest bank. They have a financial aid program which is explicitly aimed for women entrepreneurs. And also Wolters Kluwer, again a Dutch company, they have a women's initiative network where they pursue women to connect with and to learn insights from them, and to basically have a network initiative. And also Unilever, which through their She Moisture product, they continue to invest in securing a sustainable supply of organic shea butter, working with cooperatives in West Africa, which empower women and their families. And
Bianca,
in conclusion,
thank you so much for sharing this. I'm so sorry, but time's up because we have so many amazing speakers and we need to listen to all of them. So I'm so sorry.
Sure. No issue.
Thank you so much for all the information you've shared with us. Now moving forward with Her Excellency Dr. Edna Joyce Santos. Her Excellency is actually our board advisory member. She is a distinguished leader, entrepreneur, and humanitarian with expertise in healthcare, finance, global communication, and advisory roles. She is founder and CEO of Lightworkers Advisory and Management FD, LLC, and serves in various leadership capacities worldwide. An MD and published author, she has led impactful innovations across multiple sectors, recognized globally for her philanthropy and leadership. Dr. Edna, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much for that kind introduction. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and distinguished guests, it is an honor to be with you today to address a challenge that demands our immediate and collective attention, which resonates deeply within every corner of our global community, and that is freedom from poverty. In the spirit of Islam and its teachings, which so profoundly emphasize compassion, justice, and collective well-being, we are being called upon to take actionable steps towards eradicating this enduring plight. The fight against poverty is not just an economic challenge, but a moral imperative, demanding innovative pathways and collective actions to empower resilience and dignity for all. Poverty, as we know, is not merely the absence of financial wealth. It is the denial of opportunity, the obstruction of hope, and the curtailment of human potential. It is a cycle that perpetuates inequality, restricts access to education, healthcare, and basic human rights, and robs individuals of their chance to thrive. But today, I'm not here to dwell solely on the challenges. I'm here to speak of solutions. Solutions forged through innovation, collaboration, and determination. Solutions that pave the way toward economic resilience and freedom from poverty. Islam teaches us through the principle of zakat that wealth should circulate to support those in need. It also embodies the concept of sadaqah as a noble and continuous act to uplift our communities. Let us first discuss Islamic solutions for resilience. One of the most effective tools in poverty alleviation lies in implementing the core teachings of Islam. Zakat is a mandatory wealth redistribution that ensures that the poor and vulnerable can access a portion of the wealth in society. Another is economic justice. Islam prohibits exploitative practices like riba or interest that can trap people in cycles of debt. Alternative models like profit-sharing finance can build resilience. Third one is education. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The best among you is the one who learns and teaches." Empowering people through education aligns with the Islamic emphasis on knowledge as a pathway to improve not just livelihoods, but communities. Now, the power of innovation. Innovation holds the key to breaking the chains of poverty. Across the world, we have seen transformative technologies and creative strategies that empower communities and unlock possibilities previously unimaginable. For instance, we have several inspiring examples of successful poverty alleviation initiatives that have made a significant impact. One is the Grameen Bank of Bangladesh, founded by Muhammad Yunus, which provides small loans to impoverished individuals, particularly women, to help them start businesses and achieve financial independence. It has lifted millions out of poverty and inspired several models worldwide. Second one is China's poverty reduction program, wherein China has implemented targeted poverty alleviation strategies, including infrastructure development, education, and job creation. These efforts have lifted hundreds of millions of people out of extreme poverty. And then empowerment through education initiatives through various NGOs. We have examples of that one for Kenya and other examples which I have written down in the slide. So these examples highlight the power of innovation, community engagement, and education in breaking the cycle of poverty. However, innovation alone is not enough. Freedom from poverty requires solutions that are grounded in the lived realities of the communities we aim to serve. No effort succeeds without the involvement of the communities we seek to empower. Top-down approaches often fail because they overlook the unique challenges and strengths of local contexts. Poverty is best tackled by empowering people as stakeholders in their destiny. Islamic teachings inspire us to forge solutions rooted in empathy and active listening. By involving local leaders, grassroots organizations, and the beneficiaries themselves in the design and implementation of programs, we can ensure that solutions are culturally relevant and sustainable. Consider the example of social enterprises that merge profit and purpose. These organizations create jobs and foster economic growth while addressing social challenges. From fair trade cooperatives to renewable energy projects, social enterprises demonstrate the power of aligning economic success with social impact. So if innovation is the engine and community engagement is the steering wheel, then education is the fuel that propels us forward. Education equips individuals with the knowledge and skills needed to transcend the limitations of poverty and seize opportunities. It is the single most powerful tool to break the intergenerational cycle of poverty. So we must invest in accessible and quality education for all, with special attention to marginalized groups such as girls, refugees, and those with disabilities. Education must go beyond academics. It should still instill entrepreneurship, critical thinking, and leadership skills that enable individuals to become agents of change. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom from poverty is not a distant dream. It is an attainable reality, but only if we act boldly and collaboratively. Governments, businesses, civil society, and individuals must unite to forge pathways that are innovative, inclusive, and resilient. Let us prioritize policies that promote economic justice, reduce inequality, and ensure that every individual has access to basic services and opportunities. Let us champion sustainable development, recognizing that environmental preservation is intricately tied to the well-being of communities. And above all, let us remember that poverty is not just a statistic. It is the face of a child who goes to bed hungry, a family struggling to survive, and a community yearning for dignity. Our mission is to ignite hope and build a future where poverty is a relic of the past. As we live here today, let us carry the torch of innovation, empathy, and resolve. Together, we can dismantle the barriers that confine human potential and illuminate the path towards a world free from poverty. A world where economic resilience is not the privilege of a few, but the promise for all. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Quran reminds us, indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. Let us take this message to heart. Let us innovate with purpose, educate with inclusivity, and act with compassion to illuminate pathways out of poverty. Together, united by shared humanity and faith, we can forge a future where economic resilience is not a mere vision, but a lived reality. Let this speech ignite not just hearts, but also action. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It was such a beautiful outlook on this matter. Now we have Ms. Shogher Atanesyan from Armenia. Ms. Shogher is the founder of Arduk, a social enterprise supporting mothers of disabled children through home-based employment. Her work has gained international recognition for innovation and impact. Drawing from personal experience, she empowers marginalized women through sustainable support systems. Ms. Atanesyan, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kind introduction. I will share my screen now and start my presentation. So at first, I just want to thank for the opportunity to be here today amongst the other amazing speakers and audience that we have today. And I am very happy that I will share today our success story, our social enterprise that we started and established in Arduk and expanding now globally. Arduk is a social enterprise that provides job opportunities to mothers who have disabled children. There are more than 24 million children with disability worldwide, based on United Nations reports. The average government pension is less than minimum wage, which means that mothers of disabled children and mostly single mothers of disabled children have unbearable financial challenges for their everyday needs. In my presentation, you can meet Christine. She is a single mother to 8-year-old shiny girl, Grigor, who has severe autism. And managing caregiving for disabled children while seeking flexible income is a big challenge for many women like Christine. The solution, Arduk, which is meaning to iron in Armenian, is an award-winning social enterprise that creates jobs for mothers with disabled children. Our model enabled this mother to work from home with flexible hours, providing laundry services while staying close to their children. Flexible hours, dignified income. Our career system enables order pickup and return, and it works very straightforward. So our mothers provide laundry services like washing and pressing everyday clothing. And we have, I'm sorry, I will move forward. And our career system is very straightforward. We have a delivery person who goes to client's place, client's house, take the order, bring to moms. Moms are washing, ironing, putting on hangers, and delivery man brings back to the customers. So this is real work with real pay, not charity. Beyond employment, Artuk fosters a supportive network, promoting a sense of belonging and empowering among these women. When we talk about the impact of Artuk, we need to mention about both quantitative and qualitative metrics. Talking about quantitative, so Artuk is providing 3 times higher financial income rather than the government disability pension. Mothers earn the equivalent of full-time minimum wage with part-time work at home. 100% of mothers report improved financial situation. And one mother promoted to become a regional operations manager who was first to join Artuk as a laundry provider. When we talk about qualitative metrics, here you can see the words from our mothers who were describing how Artuk changed their life. So they have more self-confidence, stress resilience, peace of mind, feel useful and strong. Artuk has changed there by 180 degrees and more. Our vision is the world where everyone, regardless of circumstances, achieve economic independence and lead a dignified life through inclusive employment and sustainable practices. And our mission is to revolutionize employment by offering flexible, empowering job opportunities to marginalized women. Just briefly to present what we do. Our services we provide both to B2C. I'm sorry, can you mute yourself? Thank you. When we talk about the services, we provide both B2C and B2B clients, like individuals who need help with their laundry, or B2Bs like hotels, restaurants, who need help with their everyday like table liners, napkins, etc. So here are several testimonials from our customers, because the most important part here, the quality of the service. Because when we talk about social enterprise, many people, when they heard the word social, they immediately think about something charity, something not very high quality. And when I was starting Artuk, it was very clear for me that it should be the competitor of the best companies that are providing the same service. And we can say proudly that we have achieved. Artuk is operating more than 5 years already. And during these 5 years, the reviews that we are getting from our customers, from our satisfied customers, it's really very proud part for us. Besides being social enterprise, we are ourselves socially responsible for the environment. Our hangers are from recycled plastic. We do not use plastic bags. We use only woven bags and woven covers when we take the orders and deliver back to our customers. Talking about the Sustainable Development Goals, we are aligned with 6 United States Sustainable Goals. Our super team. I'm Shogher Atanesyan, the founder and CEO of Artuk, but I can't do anything besides my core team, these 2 individuals that you see on the screen. First, Christine, who right now is our regional manager, and we have started with her from the day 1, and she's the best person that currently having disabled children. She understands 100% the need of other mothers, and she understands 100% how it's crucial the success of the company, because if we are successful, many women can join.
I'm so sorry
2
to
minutes.
interrupt, but you still have 2 more minutes. So if
thank you very much. Appreciate a lot. And you can see Anush, our marketing manager. She has disability herself, but I haven't worked with any other person more productive than she. So I'm very happy to be amongst my team members who are the core of the success of Artuk. When I'm talking about what Artuk taught me, because it's not only me who give to Artuk creating it, but besides the warmth and energy that I am receiving every day from our beneficiary mothers, they told me how to fold a fitted sheet. I think anyone who is here in audience, they have at least one fitted sheet in their household and they know how hard to handle with it. So our mothers teach me how to press it and even to fit it, because before that, you can see the picture that was in the right. It was my result. So we work hard and we play harder. This is the collection of our great memories that we have created together, because we understand as important to work to have sustainable income, it's important to have quality time together. And this is me. You can contact. This is a QR code of my LinkedIn page. You can contact me. And if you want to partner, if you are in hospitality or service industries in your countries, because we are right now expanding Artuk globally, you can share our story and help us create more jobs where they are most needed. Thank you very much. This is all from me.
Thank you so much. And Artuk is a great initiative. So I really hope that you do expand and go worldwide. Now we have with us Dr. Pervin Kawul. Dr. Pervin's expertise spans a wide array of sociological fields, with a focus of gender and women's studies, including issues related to disability, elderly population, human trafficking, transgender and LGBT rights, employment, education, health, poverty, culture, and violence. She has served as a gender specialist consultant for UNDP and WWF Malaysia, and is a licensed psychotherapist and certified trainer by the Malaysian Trainers Board. As the director, CEO, and founder of multiple initiatives, she has led numerous national and international research grants. Dr. Pervin Kawul continues to be a passionate voice for women's empowerment, social justice, and inclusive development. She remains committed to advancing social change and advocating for a world where gender equality is. Dr. Pervin, please, the floor is all yours. Dr. Pervin, are you with us? All right, so we'll move to a different guest speaker, then we'll go back to Dr. Pervin when she's ready. So Joyce Maro from Tanzania, are you with us, Joyce? Okay, I'm calling on Jacqueline Awad from Lebanon. Is Jacqueline with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, hi Jacqueline, my fellow Lebanese. Okay, allow me to introduce you, Jacqueline. Okay, so Ms. Jacqueline, with more than 10 years of experience in banking, shifted to nonprofit work after gender discrimination. As operations manager for a US-based NGO, she leads 8 programs and advocates for women's rights and leadership in Lebanon. Jacqueline, please take the floor.
Thank you, dear. You can hear me clearly?
Yes, you're very audible.
Okay, first, good afternoon, everyone, esteemed guests, fellow speakers, and dedicated advocates for economic empowerment. It is an honor to be here today, at the Women Ascension Virtual Conference, speaking on a subject that resonates deeply within me: freedom from poverty. Innovating pathways to economic resilience. This topic is not just a theoretical discussion, but a lived reality for millions around the world, particularly in Lebanon, where the economic crisis has intensified the urgency for innovative solutions. Lebanon has faced compounding challenges: economic collapse, political instability, and social upheaval, making resilience more than just a goal, it's a necessity for survival. Poverty is not simply a lack of money, it is the absence of opportunities, resources, and security. In Lebanon, years of financial mismanagement, political instability, and external pressures have led to one of the worst economic crises in modern history. The Lebanese pound has lost over 90% of its value. Unemployment has skyrocketed, and access to basic necessities has become a daily struggle for many. We lost all our savings in the bank, we lost our wages, and we lost our jobs. However, in crisis, there is always an opportunity for transformation. Economic resilience is not just about recovery, but about redefining the structures that led to economic instability in the first place. So, how do we innovate pathways to economic resilience, especially in a country like Lebanon? Let me highlight 3 critical areas. First, investing in women's economic empowerment. Women are not just victims of economic hardship, they are key drivers of recovery. In Lebanon, women entrepreneurs have demonstrated extraordinary resilience, creating micro businesses and social enterprises despite the financial obstacles. We must expand access to microloans, business training, and digital platforms that connect women with the global markets. Harnessing the power of technology and digital economy, the world is shifting rapidly towards a digital economy, and Lebanon's youth and women must not be left behind. We must focus on digital literacy programs to enable remote work opportunities, e-commerce platforms to support small businesses, encouraging fintech solutions to provide alternatives, banking access for those excluded from traditional banking systems, and building sustainable community networks. Economic resilience is not just about individual success, but about building strong communities that support one another. Local cooperatives, social enterprises, and NGOs play a crucial role in stabilizing families by providing employment, vocational training, and access to basic services. A great example in how Lebanon NGOs have stepped in to fill the gaps, providing food, education, and economic assistance in ways that the government has failed to, like the nonprofit I'm working for. Imagine what could be achieved if these efforts were systemized and expanded. So the future is uncertain, but one thing is clear: economic resilience is within our reach if we choose innovation over stagnation, action over despair. We must demand policies that prioritize sustainable development, amplify women's voices in economic decision-making, and ensure that Lebanon's economic recovery is built on inclusion and long-term growth rather than temporary fixes. I urge each of you to think about what role you can play in this transformation, whether as an entrepreneur, a mentor, an investor, or an advocate. Change begins with small, persistent steps. So as a conclusion, in Lebanon, we often say, "Al-shams ma btghib," that means the sun never disappears. No matter how dark the night may seem, the sun will rise again. Together, through innovation, resilience, and collective action, we can break free from poverty and create lasting economic empowerment. Thank you. Here is your speech for the women. Here is the speech for every woman in this society. Thank you so much for allowing me the chance to talk about my country.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. You represented Lebanon beautifully. Now we're moving forward to listen to Miss Charity Ayikoru from Uganda. Miss Charity, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so allow me to introduce you, please. Miss Charity is a founder of Zuri House of Health and Wellness. As a certified nutrition and wellness coach with expertise in social sciences, she helps women break free from limiting beliefs, reclaim their power, and build healthier, more fulfilling lives. Her mission is to empower women to step into their full potential, whether in health, mindset, or leadership, through sustainable habits, mentorship, and community. She believes that when a woman thrives, she transforms not just herself, but the world around her. Miss Charity, please take the floor.
Thank you so much. Before I begin, let me just share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Just a minute. Okay, I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for that confirmation. So a good evening from my country, Uganda, a good afternoon or good morning, wherever you may be tuning in from. Thank you, Women's Ascension, for this opportunity, for giving us to be able to air out, or for giving us a platform to talk about freedom from poverty and innovating pathways to economic resilience. As I've been introduced, my name is Charity Ayikoru Mulhondi, the founder of Zuri House of Health and Wellness, and I'm excited to join this conversation. I am I love the idea when you talk about poverty, because this is something so personal, and I feel it's of urgency that we need to discuss about it. As we have all heard, I am a certified nutrition and wellness coach from the Pearl of Africa, and I have seen firsthand how poverty impacts women's health, choices, and their futures. All right, so I want to begin this presentation with a quote from the famous or the late Nelson Mandela, that overcoming poverty is not just a gesture of charity, it is an act of justice, okay? So it means that all of us, it's our right to be able to come out of poverty. So we need to define what it is that we're talking about. So I defined poverty as a condition where people are unable to meet basic needs such as food, shelter, healthcare, and education. And what do we mean by economic resilience? It's the ability to recover and adapt in the face of economic challenges. So one thing that I really know is that most times it's the women that are affected. So we need to find ways of how to bounce back stronger, especially us as women, because the truth is we are the backbone of our communities. So in my country in particular, when we talk about women and poverty, we notice that the percentage is about 42 of who live in the poverty or near the poverty line. So we have a high dependency on subsistence farming, which is basically where you're planting and you're the one consuming. So you're not selling out, but you're planting and then consuming what it is that you're planting. We also have a lot of lack of steady income, poor access to healthcare, and inadequate nutrition. So women are more vulnerable due to low literacy, early marriages, and limited access to finance. Okay, so just a small personal story of where I actually live, not just the country, but my particular area. I've seen so many women sell things like fruits. They're always doing laundry, where they go to people's homes and ask, can I please wash for you? Can I please just do a few small jobs here and there to be able to raise some income? But despite the long hours, we still struggle. I still see the struggle with poor nutrition and unstable income. And I realized something, that we were ignoring the fact that health and mindset was not always put at the center, yet it is very imperative for us to be able to break free and become economically resilient. So I just want to discuss about the barriers that are hindering us from really becoming economically empowered. So the number one thing I came up with was limited access to financial resources, because as women, especially in Africa, it is very hard for you to be able to even get financial services from the banks, because the kind of requirements they are looking for, we never really have them. And then we also have low financial literacy. In those rural areas, it is so hard for them to even talk about finances. It's more like a taboo. It's like it's only meant for men because they understand. And yet we as women, we lack the skills to budget, to save or invest. In fact, if you mention some of these words, some people will just look at you like, what is that you're saying? And we also recognize health challenges and poor nutrition. Cultural beliefs still place women in traditional caregiving roles. Sorry about that, reducing their time and freedom for entrepreneurship or education. So because of some of our cultures, we are still lagging behind. Gender-based discrimination and cultural norms. Some women drop out early because they end up in early marriages. Some of them get pregnant. Some of them miss the opportunity to actually gain skills needed for employment or to even begin a small business. And then we also have the issue of time, poverty, and unpaid care work. So women carry the burden of household and caregiving tasks, leaving little time or energy for other economic activities, because they say as a woman, that is your role. You need to take care of the family. So what do we need that we can begin changing this trajectory? So these are some of the solutions that I came up with or feel like it can be able to help us. We need to expand access to affordable finance for women. For example, we can increase on the SACCOs. These are just the small groups where money can be collected, where you save up money and then you can be able to get loans, mobile banking and government microloans. For example, in our country, the president initiated a scheme where people would be able to create jobs and make money. However, if some of this portion was allocated to women, I think it will really give them a huge boost in terms of breaking free from poverty. Then we also, things like financial literacy and entrepreneur training. We need to offer community-based workshops on saving, budgeting, investing, and simple business skills. And this is one thing that I'm really passionate about, and that as Zuri House of Health and Wellness, I can completely say with confidence that this is something that we are doing, and I pray that we can be able to enlarge our agenda. Then supportive policies and legal frameworks. We are advocating for laws that can promote gender equity in land
Charity,
ownership.
please keep in mind that you still have 2 more minutes, so we need to wrap
All
up
right,
fast.
all right. I'm wrapping it up. Okay. So we need to invest in education and vocational training. We need to encourage reskilling programs for women who miss schools or want to transition into better paying jobs. Then affordable childcare and shared domestic responsibility. If we allow the women to also be able to find a safe space for their children, I believe this will be able to create a gap for them to look for better businesses or better skills to earn more money. So as Zuri House of Health and Wellness, we are out there to help women improve their self-esteem so that they can reduce health issues and also have better financial choices. So we have been able to impact over 50 women and supporting them to transition into roles that they believe can help them. So I am calling out for collaboration. Tech companies, financial institutions, government, health and wellness coaches, we need to come together to find a momentum to be able to help us as women to be able to build our economic resilience. So my final thoughts on this: freedom from poverty starts with one woman making a different choice. When we empower her with knowledge, health, and opportunity, she transforms her community. Let us collaborate to empower women, transform communities, and rewrite the story of poverty. So thank you very much for this opportunity. As I said, my name is Charity Ayikoru Mulhondi, the founder of Zuri House of Health and Wellness, and we can be able to connect on any of these channels. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Charity, for this beautiful speech. Now we'd love to listen to Memory Chilapondwa. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Miss Memory, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. No, you pronounced it really well. I started to think you're from my country.
Okay, so Memory is from Malawi, and she is a development economist focused on women's economic empowerment, gender equality, and climate sustainability. Her work in policy, M&D, and research drives inclusive strategies and entrepreneurial leadership for women and youth. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. Let me just share my screen. All right, I hope you can see my screen. Can I continue? All right, so introductions have already been made, and thank you for this platform, Women Ascension. I really appreciate it for this platform. So my take on this topic is through a gender lens where I'm much focusing on women economic empowerment. To just go further and to cruise so that I can go within the time and finish within time, I want to give you an overview of certain and various statistics and studies that have happened. So I'll just run them through just to give you a picture of how women and poverty are interlinked and there's an intersection. So as of 2024, approximately 1 in every 10 women worldwide live in extreme poverty. When it comes to Malawi, my country, women head over 75% of families living in poverty and rural areas, and rural women are vulnerable, are very much vulnerable. So it has been projected, it is that by 2030, an estimated of 340 million girls are expected to be living in extreme poverty if the current trends persist. So I will not read all through, but why am I saying these? These are not just numbers. They're not just data points. To me, they are a wake-up call, because behind every statistic is a woman whose potential is being hindered by poverty. Because behind these numbers is a highlight that is highlighting the challenges many women face and continue to face. But this is also a reminder that it is important to create various opportunities so that women should get out of this poverty. So we can support women through economic empowerment. So to me, women economic empowerment is not just helpful, it's essential for building stronger families and stronger communities. So what does women economic empowerment look like to me? So when I was going through this, I was like, it was very broad, so much so that it's a lot of things that I can encompass in this, but I just came up with 3 points, not limited to this, but I would say to me, women economic empowerment looks like an increase in women's access to opportunities. When I say that, I mean opportunities to turn knowledge into livelihood and dreams into businesses, opportunities to be financially independent, and opportunities for global networking. To me, that is a very economically empowered woman. Whether it means through innovation, technology, and inclusive policies, women should have equal access to education, markets, finance, land, and digital skills. Another point was women with agency and a voice. To me, an economically empowered woman has agency and a voice. Women with power to own their voice and choices, women with power to make informed financial decisions, control resources, and influence matters in their homes, communities, and workplaces. Women should have a voice and the power to influence policies, lead in various spaces, and without systemic or cultural barriers. Lastly, my point was women in leadership. To me, that is a economically empowered woman. So taking up leadership roles in businesses, communities, governments, and NGOs, driving decisions that reflect women's voices, needs, and ambitions, because true empowerment is not only when women benefit from development, but also when they lead it. Going further, there are a lot of challenges, even though there are a lot of challenges that are faced and barriers that are faced when trying to achieve women economic empowerment. I'm happy I will not explain each and everything. I'll just read it through, because the first 2 presentations also tackled about these challenges. They're very much similar. So there's the lack of access to resources, cultural and social barriers, lack of access to financial support, and lack of role models and supportive networks. I'm just gonna talk and expand a little bit on this. I'll give an example of myself. To reach where I am at this moment is because I looked up to some lady who has a higher position or who has achieved more than me. Excuse me? Okay. So and support so as my example, I was empowered so much, and it's a drive to me. So lack of these role models can also be a barrier to women economic empowerment. So how are these barriers being broken? I'm also bringing good news that there are a lot of development institutions aimed at enhancing women economic empowerment. So even though we are still getting trends whereby they say if things don't change, it might worsen, that women might worsen economically, but we still have institutions that are implementing initiatives aimed at enhancing women economic empowerment. We have donor agencies. So there's a really significant shift towards
Maro,
prioritizing.
please note that we still have 2 more minutes, so please,
All
if you could.
So there are a lot of NGOs and local communities that are working towards enhancing women economic empowerment. So these are just the focus areas where these agencies and the like are enhancing women economic empowerment. I will not go through all of them, but I just wanted you to get an aspect and a view that they are in different criteria and different factors when advocacy policy in markets, including promoting economic empowerment within organizations, supporting data-driven approaches. So I have my personal examples and a case study of projects that I am also involved in back in Malawi. These are 2 projects that have shown impact because both of these projects work and use people-centered approaches to build economic resilience. So the approach is they facilitate for formation of various farmer groups. So we work with different farmer groups in the rural communities through we form cooperatives, we form village savings and loans groups, and we also form study circles. So these have really impacted the financial literacy of women as well as men as well as youth, access to microfinancing.
Thank you so much, Maro. I'm
all right,
really
let me just go through and just finish. I am very sorry, but all right. So this is another success story of a regional female project officer training that happened. So it is there are platforms like this that empower females to come together, globalization networks, including even this Women Ascension also is playing a very big role in empowering women, creating that space where people can voice out, people can say what is really tangible and what should happen as far as women economic empowerment is concerned. Reaching this far, thank you very much for this opportunity to be part of this wonderful thing. So I would like to say that economic empowerment, my last words would be economic empowerment is not just about income, it's about dignity, opportunity, and a voice. I have seen firsthand how women and girls, when trusted with tools and space, become architects of their own transformation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and keep up the good work. Joyce from Tanzania has reconnected. Welcome back, Joyce.
Thank you.
Okay, let me introduce you before you go ahead and present your speech. Joyce is an economic empowerment specialist and VSLA coordinator at CARE International. She's empowered more than 12,000 women through financial literacy and entrepreneurship, supporting rural communities via value chain development and digital financial tools. The floor is yours.
Okay, hello everyone, and a greeting from Tanzania. Well, my name is Joyce Maro. Thank you so much for very good introductions. Currently serve as a VSLA coordinator in CARE International. So I'd like to start by sharing my screen. Please confirm if you can see my screen. Can you people see my screen?
We can see the virtual background. We can only see the virtual background.
Okay.
Picture of a virtual background.
All right.
If you can cross this, then we can see the screen.
All right. All right, so screen. Can you see it now? Yes.
Yes, we can.
All right, sorry, apologies. We are facing some internet connections. Well, I would like to start my presentations by saying that ending extreme poverty means investing in women. So as I've said, I'm currently working with Care International. So who are we now? Care International is a developmental organization fighting global poverty with a specific focus on working with women and girls to build a sustainable change to their communities. Our visions, we seek a world of hope, inclusion, and social justice, where poverty has been overcome and all people live in dignity and security. Our mission is to save lives, defeat poverty, and achieve social justice. So our focus is that we put women and girls in the center, because we know that we cannot overcome poverty until all people have equal rights and opportunity. Equal rights in decisions making, equal rights in resources, and equal rights in any opportunity. Okay. So investing in women is in the heart of what we do. In fact, 70% of our project participants are women. The role that women play in ending extreme poverty is crucial. Women are more likely to invest in their children and family, breaking the cycle of extreme poverty for their entire household. That's why our model equips women with training and skills that they need to initiate a business. As their income and saving increase, women in our program use their earning to provide more nutritious meals for their children, pay for their children's educations, and purchase the item their children need to survive. So we have a 6 area of our impact as Care International. One is women economic justice. We believe that everyone has the right to economic resource, the power to make decisions that benefit themselves, their family, and communities, change in social norms and structure. Another impact is gender equality. We cannot eradicate poverty and achieve social justice while gender inequality persists. Another area of our impact is humanitarian action. We all know that in the last decade, we have seen an increased need for humanitarian actions due to disaster, conflict, and the global pandemic. We deliver life-saving humanitarian assistance and adapt our rich developmental program for our innovations, implementations, and scale a fragile and complex context to support some of the most. Our work in care core humanitarian sector includes shelter, wash, food, healthy, and right. We always seek to contribute to both gender equality and the immediate humanitarian assistance. Another impact is climate justice. We believe that everyone has the right to live on a healthier planet. In the event of disaster, the risk of death is higher among women and children than among men. Right to food, water, and nutrition. We believe everyone has the right to nutritious food and clean water. Right to health. We believe that everyone has both right to life and healthy. So as Care International, we have various approaches that we use as a driver of economic empowerment. Today, I'll speak on one of the approach, which is a VSLOA as a driver for economic empowerment and equality. So what are VSLOA now? VSLOA, these are Village Saving and Loan Associations, or we call Youth Saving and Loan Associations. Access to formal financial services has been a challenge, especially to rural women. So VSLOA, this is a group of people who save together and take small loans from those saving. The activity of the group run in a cycle of 1, after which the accumulated saving and loan and profit are distributed back to member. The purpose of VSLOA is to provide simple saving and loans to facilitate community which does not have access to formal financial services. So why VSLOA expected outcome or desired result? How does VSLOA help in women economic empowerment? One is that financial inclusions. VSLOE lead to significant improvement in financial inclusions among women. Their saving grew. They also get access to credit, entrepreneurship, and business outcome. Micro enterprises activity are positively affected by the program, leading to increase in the number of business operated by household. Women empowerment without negative consequences like GBV. Women in VSLOE say that they could solve their problem themselves, even their husband value and respect them. Okay. Improve the household well-being. VSLOE member recorded increase in the household like livestock, vehicle, and real estate. More investment in education, spending more in children, school fees through saving, reduced food insecurity through increased production and consumptions. Average number of meals per day now increased from 2 to 3. Investment in health. Member who are in VSLOE now invest more in health through the social funds. So expected, these results illustrate not only potential for VSLOE to benefit members, but for them to serve as a foundation in achieving number of sustainable development goals, include goal number 1, end poverty, goal number 5, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls, and goal number 8, promote sustainable, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, and goal number 10, reduce inequality. Lastly, although Women's Month has come to a close, our commitment to advancing the right of women and girls remaining unwavering. As Care Tanzania, we continue to champion the full spectrum of women's and girls' rights, ensuring their economic independence and leadership, health, education, well-being, and resilience in the face of environmental challenges. Our goal is not only for women and girls to participate, but to be the key architecture of the change in their communities. We are moving forward with our partner to drive lasting impact, ensuring that women and girls have full and meaningful participations in all aspects of life. When women rise, society thrives. This is a journey we must take together, both men and women, building a future where equality is not just an aspiration, but a reality. So, thank you. Lastly, because I have, let's say, 1 minute, let me share this. The last one, how VSLOE has transformed the Melania's life. It's a 1 minute story, very interesting. Can you see it?
I'm so sorry, Miss Joyce, but because we're very tight on time and there are many wonderful speakers left, so maybe if we still have time towards the end, we'll share the story. But for now, let us move forward with Cordelia Jafar from USA. Miss Cordelia, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Okay. So please allow me to introduce you. Ms. Cordelia is transformational leader and founder of Workout Around My Day, Inc. She integrates movement, healing, and coaching to help individuals and organizations embody joy and self-mastery. An award-winning podcast host and author, she promotes intimacy, intelligence, and holistic leadership. Please, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. It's been amazing to be here today with all of you women, listening to the various speakers. And my approach, as you can hear, is just slightly different. I believe that we can achieve freedom from poverty by having what we're doing today, right? Global solidarity for gender equity, instead of using the word equality, right? As you've heard from many of the speakers, the current state of women and girls in the world today is unconscionable, right? We're half of the population of the world, yet in many countries, we only have access to about 20% of the economic resources in our own countries. And women are more likely to live in poverty than men, sadly, especially in developing areas of the world. And the gender disparities are mostly, as have been cited today, labor force participation, wage gaps, and leadership positions, right? So when I talk about women living in poverty, 70% of the world's population who live in poverty are women, according to the UN. And according to the World Economic Forum, 20% of women earn 20% less than men globally. But here's the thing. What I'm noticing is when we focus on equality, meaning that we want the same as men, we tend to do the same things that men do, right? Instead of being collaborative, which is natural to women, we are competitive, which causes other issues because no one's gonna want for you more than you want for you. No one's gonna love you more than you love you, right? So if we're not loving on each other, then we cannot collaborate. If we're not loving on each other, then we cannot elevate because all ships rise together, right? So that is to say, most of the women in my country who live in poverty look like me. Many of the women in other countries that cannot rise to a higher economic level, yes, it's because of education. Yes, it's because they don't have access to money. And sometimes it's other women that are the barriers for that. So my call to action, first and foremost, is to focus on loving yourself more so that you can see the reflection of your humanity in another woman. So if you are in a leadership position, since there's so few of us in leadership positions around the world, guess what? This is your opportunity to help other women. And I acknowledge different organizations. I've been taking notes like Arduk that are doing wonderful things and helping women and even honoring the environment. We are the pillars of society, and we have to be the example for society on how to be a pillar so that we can move forward. I always call women to choose joy and pleasure so that they can love their lives. And what that means is joy looks like I have gotten to this place. Yes, I worked hard to get there, but I'm not going to be a barrier to another woman to also achieve what she can achieve. All women are not meant to be in office positions. Some women actually like being farmers or being craft workers or caring for children. And so here my call to action is we, right? When we talk about cultural transformation, we first have to value that these kind of work where you're taking care of small humans is high value work. I'm going to repeat that. It is high value work. There's some of us who are mothers who get to work in offices and be away from our children. But there are others of us who get to take care of those children for us. And we must value them the same. This is where I'm going to use the example of Beyonce, right? I actually am not really a fan of Beyonce, but I'm using her as an example because she does hire her nannies and the people who clean her house. She pays them in American dollars, $100,000 a year. That is like the base salary of a management position or sometimes executive positions here in my country. So if we were to globally value these types of work like that, that would get many women out of poverty because these are considered unskilled labor. These are considered, I'm trying to look for the word that I found, informal labor force. It's called people who take care of children and clean houses and cook food are considered informal labor. And they are 75% of the workforce in the continent of Africa and about 50% or maybe more, actually 70% of the workforce in Asia. So if we would do that as women and decolonize our own selves and not succumb to cultural norms, then we could really set an example. And then it would be easier to call in men as our allies. And then we would show up differently in media and social media. So my 7-step solution is number 1, cultural transformation. As I mentioned, change the way we show up in media and our cultural norms, decolonize ourselves and our systems, call in men as our allies. Number 2, shift our mindset to unpaid or recognizing domestic work or agricultural work or craft work as high value, because those people are feeding humans, right? The farmers grow the crops so we can eat. If we don't eat, we're all dead. And they also take care of our children so that we can sit in these lovely offices with all of our education. Number 3.
Thank you so
Yes.
much, Cordelia. I'm so sorry, but your time is up and we're so tight on timing.
Understood. I got the
however,
points through that I wanted to get through. Thank you so much
It
for your
was
time.
such
I've
a
enjoyed it.
beautiful insight. Thank you. Okay, is Miss Olusola from Nigeria with us? Miss Olusola, are you with us? All right, so is Miss Arichi from Cameroon with us?
Hello, everyone. I'm right here.
All right. Hello, Arichi. Let me introduce you before you start delivering your speech. So, Achiri is a town planning engineer and founder of Hand in Hand Cameroon. She has trained over 5,000 women in eco-friendly practices and leads climate and gender justice advocacy. Her work has earned multiple international awards. We're all ears.
Thank you. Thank you very much. A wonderful presentation. Okay, first of all, as regarding the IWD conference organized by Women Ascension, I would like to say a big thank you to Women Ascension, and we sincerely applaud the actions you're putting in place to ensure that the community is empowered. Empowerment goes with education, and that is what you are doing right here. So first of all, I want us to identify keywords. And the keywords in this conference is 1, poverty, innovation, and economic resilience. So I'll pick poverty. Poverty is simply a state where individuals lack the financial resources or essentials needed for a basic standard of living. That includes food, shelter, healthcare, education, and more. That's basic amenities within the society. And talking of innovation, simply innovation talks about creating something new. And economic resilience is looking at the capacity to withstand, to adapt, and to recover from shock and disruption. So basically, that is what we are focusing on, the 3 key points in this conference. So I want us to go straight away to practical ways to economic resilience. Okay. Here is a small image, or let's say a small diagram that talks about pathways to economic resilience. Next slide, please. Pathways to economic resilience. And these 3 pathways are some of the way or practical steps I was able to overcome. And that is what I am using to mentor and to empower other women within my community. And just to talk about myself for a while, that's driving you to where I'm going to. I would like to present myself to say that I am a young woman who was born and raised up in a village setting. I grew up as a hunter, and I grew up as knowing that I am a commodity because I am a woman. In my era, that is in the northwest region of Cameroon, I realized that women were groomed for marriage and not groomed to face society, to be empowered for education and for other beautiful aspects of life. But the fate of a woman was well defined, and that was taking care of women, taking care of children, and taking care of their families. That alone was one very difficult aspect of life I really could not pull through with. But how did I overcome? I had to stay focused. I really distracted, and I realized that goal, and I so wanted to be educated. That is why I am driving the change I am driving today. The first aspect, as I want to hit through, that's the practical ways to economic resilience. The first one I'll be looking at is skill building. Now, skill building, I was able to build myself with so many hand skills. For example, I'm putting on a hat that was actually made by myself, and that is what I am also using or transmitting to other women in my community. I live in a war zone, that is an area affected by the socioeconomic war in Cameroon, that is in the northwest and southwest regions. Practically, here I'm living in the southwest region, and I'm using these skills to affect my communities, to impact women with hand skills, like the making of fascinators, like the making of handbags, like the making of liquid soap, and so much more. I believe that when women use these hand skills, they'll be able to raise income for livelihood support. And because of that, they are able to raise money for good health care, to raise money for better accommodation, to raise money to educate their children, and why not themselves? Straight away, let me talk about education. No one is too old to be educated. I believe that education is
Actually, please note that you have 1 more minute left.
It's a tool we are using to equip ourselves. So therefore, we need to be educated. We need to learn a trade and learn a profession.
Because I cannot hear her.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes, you're
okay.
audible.
Another aspect of empowering ourselves for pathways. Okay. Another aspect of pathways to practical pathways to achieving
I think we should
economic.
move on with the next speaker, and then we give chance to Miss Achiri 1 more time, because we cannot hear her.
Okay. So let's have a small break, and meanwhile, maybe we could thank our partners. We have Jacqueline. They are our partners and one of the biggest supporters to this initiative. So thank you so much. We would like to hear a word. And also I'd like to thank Ignar, a main supporter, and without you, this initiative couldn't have possibly been made and been this successful. So, Jacqueline, would you like to share with us a word?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's been very beautiful today, and this coming together, speaking, talking is building the table, it's creating the spaces, and it's having the impact to elevate and amplify what we're experiencing and what it is that we can come together and do and accomplish in the world. And I am very honored to be a part of this initiative and to be part of the Women's Ascension and my dear friend Maheen. So thank you all so very much. And I love seeing all of the interaction in the comments. Every single one of you here today, has the ability to change the world. And even just your presence here today is doing that. So thank you all for that level of presence, because this is leadership in action, what we're seeing right here today. That's what I have to say. Did you want me to move into my presentation, or am I going to come back and do that at the end?
No, let's just close this with you. But I wanted to give you a shout out. Thank you for your valuable support.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, so we'll move on with our guest speakers. Let's hear a word from Ignor Van Rooy from South Africa and Canada. Please let me know, correct me if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Ignor, are you with us?
Yes, I am. It's Inger van Roy.
Okay, Inger van Roy. Thank you for the correction. Allow me to introduce you, please. You're an accomplished international speaker. Inger appears on various platforms, including
He thought she
her
might be
YouTube
right.
channel
There was too much sand.
Inspiration
Then the
from
stranger
Inger,
realized all they needed was a
promoting the
cigarette.
power of Ubuntu and community. She also hosts Wonder Woman Wednesday on Africa App Radio, highlighting ordinary women making an extraordinary difference in the lives of others. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you everyone for being here. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to be here with you all. Let me know if you can see my screen. Oh. Can you see? Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I will be speaking about freedom from poverty, yes, but I'll be taking you from isolation to innovation, building community in a digital age. So thank you again for this opportunity. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's an absolute honor to be here with you today. And as we gather to explore this topic, we know that economic empowerment is necessary, and Bianca drove that point home today. I invite you to shift your mindset. As Stacey shared, mindset is so important. And I would like you to consider a powerful yet often underestimated force, which is community. You see, I'm from South Africa, where the philosophy of Ubuntu is deeply woven into the fabric of our culture. Ubuntu means I am because we are. And it's the understanding that our humanity is tied to the humanity of others, that we thrive not alone, but together. So in a world transformed by technology, I believe Ubuntu is more relevant than ever. So who am I? I want to tell you a little bit about me. And of course, it's important to note that I am one in a sea of many. We are all here together, and we're stronger together, as we often speak of, right? So I want to tell you a little bit about my story. Allow me to tell you this short version. So I used to live a very normal life. I wake up, go to work, come home, spend time with my family, and do it all again the next day. That rhythm came to a halt in 2020 when the pandemic hit and I lost my job. Like so many others, I was forced to pivot and begin a business. A friend introduced me to someone who helped me get started in my business. And through Facebook, I landed my very first gig. while working that gig, I realized that I needed to approach how I use social media differently. I made the decision to be more intentional, especially on LinkedIn. And a few days later, I saw a post from someone in my circle, inviting people who wanted to grow on LinkedIn to comment or send a DM. I was afraid to comment publicly because I was wondering who would see it. So I sent a DM instead. That one message led to tips that launched me into the beautiful world of heart-to-heart connection on LinkedIn. I began harnessing the power of Ubuntu and learned from incredible people. From my friend Gail, who is the most curious person that I know. I learned to be curious, not judgmental. And then from my friend Usama, who lives in Cyprus, I learned to dive in and build resilience as I go. From Russ, my friend who interviewed me on his live show, and saw something in me I didn't yet see. I was inspired to start my own show in 2021. Now I host 2 shows and have co-hosted and guest hosted many, many more. From my friend Alan and my friend Scott, who live in the States and in Ireland, I realized that I too could be an author, and I published my very first book in 2022. From my friend Elizabeth, I learned that it's okay to talk about
Ms.
kindness
Singer,
and
please note that you still have 1 more minute.
I was told that I have 8 minutes to speak, and I haven't even spoken that long, but okay, that's fine. Let me move forward and just tell you a little bit about my 3-step strategy, which I approach LinkedIn with, and that is through connecting, collaborating. So connecting, communicating, and collaborating, because I want to share that, yes, technology is something that we can use. It's an avenue, but it's not the answer. Connection is. We're witnessing incredible innovation. Technology is revolutionizing access to education, unlocking entrepreneurship, and enabling us to connect across continents in seconds. But here's the truth. Access doesn't always equal connection, and progress without people is just noise. My mission, my purpose is to use technology, not just do business, but to build community. And over the past 10 years, I've helped entrepreneurs, organizations, and change makers build their businesses and platforms using one powerful tool that I've already mentioned, which is LinkedIn, but not the way that most people use it. While some see LinkedIn as just a place for resumes and job postings, I see it as a global village where authentic relationships spark community, where voices once unheard can rise, and where a woman or a man with a dream can find their tribe, their courage, and their path to freedom. So, as I said, my framework is connect, communicate, collaborate. And why this matters is because community is the engine, Ubuntu is the heart, and together we can move from pressure to purpose, from survival to resilience, and from isolation to impact. One of my favorite quotes is by Helen Keller, and she says, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." Technology may be the tool, but community is the engine, and Ubuntu is the heart that keeps it going. So, as you think about your next step, whether you're an entrepreneur, a professional, or just starting out, I invite you to ask, who can I connect with today? What conversations can I start that may open a door tomorrow? And how can I collaborate in a way that lifts us all? Because you don't have to figure it all out. You just have to show up and be willing to build together. Thank you for having me. Let's stay connected. Let's build purpose-driven communities, and let's innovate, not just for ourselves, but for each other, helping us all grow towards economic empowerment. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Ingor. Okay, so now we're moving forward with Mukui Yvonne from Kenya. Miss Yvonne, are you with us?
Yes,
All right, so please allow me to introduce you. Ms. Yvonne is a founder and director of Giving Light to Society Foundation. She leads humanitarian and educational initiatives. Her foundation uplifts marginalized individuals through empathy, compassion, and empowerment, and visioning all opportunity. Please go ahead.
all right, thank you so much. I wish to say to my presentation, good morning, good afternoon, and also good evening, depending on the time. And many speakers have really highlighted on the things that we are really and if you're thinking about
Miss Mukui, we cannot hear you. I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but we cannot hear you. Could you please go somewhere quiet? Because we cannot hear you more, rather than your background noise. Thank you so much.
What about now? Am I audible?
It's much better now. Please carry on.
All right. So just to go back what I was just talking, today we are having the discussion about economic empowerment. And when we're talking about the economic empowerment, that we're really highlighting today from a gender perspective. And this is a call for us to understand that, yes, as we are talking and we are championing for women in economic empowerment space, we have to ensure that you're bringing the other counterparts together so that we may not make 20 strides ahead and then later on we're going 50 strides. And now you find that that is one of the biggest things that many people and many organizations, individuals, we are missing. And simply what am I implying? That for us to achieve the real economic empowerment, we have to ensure that we are bringing the aspect of gender equity. And this is where we are recognizing those historical social disadvantages that have been there, and not only just the past disadvantages, but also the potential disadvantages that are coming, because we have been seeing, and gender, it's dynamic. And if it's dynamic, it means that the inequalities that are going to arise, they're going to be dynamic. And one thing that I could just highlight is we have to have good structural reforms for economic justice, because already, just to give you simple explanation, we have two types of resources. We have reproductive and we have productive resources. And you find that women, they have access to only reproductive resources, reproductive roles alone, but they lack control over the productive resources. So what do I mean when I say reproductive and productive roles? Reproductive roles, they're just associated with the name reproducing, breastfeeding, conceiving. And one thing you have to realize is, yes, they have access to the reproductive roles, but at some point, not at some point, they will lack control over the reproductive roles and the resources that you're having. So the productive resources, these are like land. You find that a woman has the access to use the land, but doesn't have the control on what happens on that land. If it's farming time, she will have to consult from the husband. If she wants to sell the land, the husband must be engaged. So it is high time for us to break the structural barriers that have been there in the past, so that we may ensure at least this discriminatory. Yes, some people will continue purporting, saying, yes, our mothers have been there and there is nothing that has been happening. It's because they have been silent. And the things that we are championing for in economic empowerment, these are the harmful practices that are hindering women in achieving economic empowerment. And how can we ensure this? They are the policies. How can you ensure that this policy, it's a gender responsive policy? It has to cut across what are the women needs? What are the challenges that these women are passing through? And how can we ensure that this policy fits what women want? And another thing another speaker talked about, it's about the unpaid care work. Yes, people will tell us that that is your role. Go cook for your husband, do this and this and this and this. Yet we are going to job at the same time. We're going to move. We're going to get out of job at the same time. But once we're coming back at home, I have to ensure the children are well fed. Everything is in order. And I have to cook and I have to sleep late because there is the unpaid care work that I have to do. This now links to when there is a family member who is sick. What happens? It is the women who takes now the roles of the unpaid care work. So the question is, how can we ensure that we are going to quantify this unpaid care work to something that can be like a correlation between now the economic empowerment part of it? Yes, you will spend time looking after the children, but let it correlate with the other gender or your husband. As the husband is doing this, also you are doing this, so that it may not be just only unpaid care work and you find that it is draining yourself. So we have to quantify it, something that is tangible, not really tangible can be seen, but something that is well reasonable that can be achieved. And what I usually say as I wind up is, for us to achieve economic empowerment, we have to remove the mindset and the notion that we have to do it in gender way. Let us start from the fact that this is a human being and she is a woman. These are the challenges that this human being who is a woman is passing through. How can we help this person? Then finally, on inclusive innovation, we usually talk about inclusivity, but you find that in our organizations, in our circles, we don't have persons with disability. We don't have women in the circles. We don't have even men in the board members. We don't have women in the board members. How can we ensure that there is the inclusivity in all those aspects? Because leadership really plays a key role in ensuring that we're achieving economic empowerment, because these are the people, just a minute. Because these are the people who go to make these policies. They are the member of the parliament. They are this and this and this. And if we will be always saying politics is this, politics is this, how are we going to ensure that these policies, and you know that law is the ultimate thing that people usually follow? And because my time is up, I'll just suggest a few things that we have to do so that we may achieve economic empowerment. From my own perspective, we have to establish gender responsive, gender transformative economic policies that prioritize marginalized groups, everyone in the society. And the second thing is we have to strengthen accountability mechanisms in institutions to ensure that implementation of gender equity commitments, they have been followed up to par. Because we have policies, but how are these policies really implemented? How are these people ensuring that, yes, we are talking about in a circle, in that board members, we need person with disability. Let it be written in that policy. Let it have some follow-up mechanism, whether there is a person who has to be there who is a disabled person, we don't want to know. You have to send application, let people apply for that role. If it's for the women, there are no women in your organization, and you are purporting to talk about economic empowerment, ensure that don't start looking for the circle of the friends that you're having. Send the application, give them the room to exercise this. And my final call to all women who are here, yes, you're going to be given roles, but don't just take the role because you are just a woman. We haven't come just this far to be like, we have just come this far. You have to have just a so what you have to do, you just have to get the qualifications that you are having. Let the qualifications speak for you, and don't just go there as a participant, but go there as a key decision maker. Speak about what you have, the rights that you have, especially in economic and financial sector. That's where now you find that we are going to be silent because you're being told you don't know mathematics, you don't know this and this and this, but whatever you believe in, go and do it. So that is what I had, and I'll share with the Women Ascension organization the slides if you'll be interested to get them, and just to finalize the true finalization. That's our organization. It's called Giving Light to Society. We're based in Kenya, in Kibra, in Kasarani. We're also in other counties, and we are really strong on mental health, reproductive health, and also matters regarding health, policy making, and environmental conservation.
All right.
It is an
Thank you.
organization.
It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
Now we've saved the best for last. Please, Jacqueline, take the floor.
I love it. I have double muting and I muted myself. So thank you so much to Women's Ascension for this powerful event and initiative. It is so beyond important. We all know that. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm just going to dive into what it is I have to share today. So too many women have been told that we have to, that success only comes from sacrifice, right? That to build wealth, to make impact, to lead, you must hustle harder, grind louder, and become someone else entirely sometimes. Is this true for you? If you have experienced that, please throw me a yes or a hand or a heart in the chat, because I want to see and I want to hear from you all. So what if his success, though, was never meant to come from sacrifice? What if your wholeness, your rhythm, your soul, your truth was the actual strategy? What if your most natural pace was your most sacred economy? Would you like to know more about a system like that, right? Then you're in the right place. And my name is Jen Lynn, and I'm the founder of Unique New Beauty Norm. And this is the boss system, okay? So all around across the world, I hear the same stories from women. I'm exhausted, I'm misaligned, this isn't sustainable, and they're right. Because the current systems reward urgency, they punish rest, they ignore the wisdom of our infradian rhythms, our monthly cycles that affect our focus, our energy, and our emotions, especially for neurodivergent, multi-passionate creators and those with marginalized identities. Success should not cost us our souls. And this is why I created the boss system. It's not just a framework, it's a remembrance. It's a return to how life actually works. It's a sacred system built in alignment with the body, the earth, and the cosmos. We don't build by force, we build by rhythm. So let me show you what that really looks like, right? We start with our outer or our inner ecosystems, our infradian cycles, our lunar and all seasonal patterns, because nature teaches us when to bloom and when to root. Our creative gestation becomes a real vision. It takes time to birth. And this is not woo. This is from a woven order of origin. Okay, it's the frequency of ancient feminine intelligence coded into our bodies and our very breath. So let's walk through the steps. These are bridges between pain and possibility, between survival and sovereignty. Whether you're in a shelter or a boardroom, your first act of power is to breathe. I am not a problem to fix. I am a pattern to return to. Your story doesn't disqualify you, it initiates you. It's our diversity is not our division. It is a divine design. You don't need an empire. You need one sacred space that reflects the truth of who you are. Where I am fully me, I am fully free. The women in the refugee camps, the women on this Zoom call, the woman in the mirror, we are each other's answers. I do not rise without her, and she does not fall alone. So let's reclaim this truth that woo is a woven order of origin. The moon is in your bones, the breath of your grandmother, the spiral of unencoded cycles is in your very cells. Feminine-led societies once thrived by honoring this wisdom, from the priestesses cities of Nubia and to Ethiopia and all across the world. They didn't chase capital, they held creation, and now so can we. These women didn't need a blueprint. They didn't need permission because they knew that they were the blueprint, that the blueprint was within them. Sacred economies are not built by domination, they're built by devotion. We are not building brands, just brands. We're tending to temples of sovereignty. And so I want to leave you with this. Let your success be sacred. Let your strategies be sovereign. Let your story be more than enough. You are not too much. You are the map. You are part of that woven order of origin. Everything that you need is within you. Every skill, every person, all of the things that you need to change your life and to change the life of the world, then therefore is in the power of your choice, because this isn't just about business or economy or rising together. This is about seeking the intelligence of your heart, your brain, and your gut. Those are the three power centers of intelligence that shape how you feel, how you think, and how you act, how you deliver, how you serve. When they're aligned, your strategy becomes intuitive, your rest becomes productive, and your leadership becomes embodied. That is why the boss system works. It doesn't just include your mind, it meets the needs of your entire being. We can co-create a world together where wholeness leads to peace without war, where it leads to the ability to fulfill our needs as women. It does not matter where we are. We have innate skills, we have innate energy flows that can enable us to do what we are here to do. We are not here to be men. We are here to be women. We are here to lead in the ways that only we can. That is soft skills, long-term skills are the leadership skills that are needed in this world to increase economic power. It's compassion, it's curiosity, it's empathy. It is leading with knowing that you are enough, that what you're doing is enough, and that it multiplies. When we support one another, we are supporting the growth and the evolution in this world and of this world. So when you see the woman on the side of the market that has the handmade garments, you pay her. And you pay her exactly what it is that she's asked for, because we decide our worth. You decide your worth. Whatever price tag you put on your skills, somebody and everybody will pay. You get to decide that. You are worthy, you are capable, and you don't need anybody's permission to do what it is that you came here to do. Say, I am and I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. That's such an interesting perspective to look at this matter. It was really refreshing. Thank you. Now,
Penelope, can I take the floor for like next 10 minutes? Would that be okay?
yeah, let me
All right.
open my camera. Well, it's
That's
now 8 p.m. in Lebanon, so I don't know if the lighting will look nice, but here I am.
all right, that's great. So thank you very much, dear speakers, for your thoughts. We have a lot of questions from YouTube Live, their audience over there, and we have a lot of questions during, our conversations from the beginning till the end. We have a lot of questions. So I would like to put one open questions because we understand what kind of community we have in and what is their problem when it's related to economic empowerment. So one of the questions, as a women to women, I would really like to ask is that how to overcome the fear that we cannot do it. Because one of the reasons we personally believe that we held back is that we don't believe in ourselves. We have a lot of, barriers in our heart and mind. So how we can overcome with that so that we can see we are not blindsided with the fear. So this is my first question from all of you. Anybody could take the lead, please, so that this will help a lot, especially to our community.
So
Yes,
one of the
Jen
things that we can do to overcome our fear is our body, when we're in a place of fear, it goes to binaries, right? It goes to right or wrong, good or bad. And that's one way to recognize that you're in fear, even if you don't think that you are. Your body is actually in a place of fear. Face a fear every single day, something that makes you uncomfortable, something that is outside of what it is that you normally do. If you normally read something, listen to something on an audiobook. If you normally speak a lot, sit and listen. If you are afraid of spiders, learn what spiders do for the world and fall in love with them. When we brain how we train. And so if we will face those fears on a daily basis, this is one thing I learned as a paramedic and a firefighter and I did that for 15 years. When you face a fear every single day, it allows you to still move even when your knees and legs are shaking and your voice is shaking. Fear is always, always going to be a part of what it is that you experience. So it's moving with it. It's not letting it stop you. It's actually letting it propel you. That energy and that shaky leg, let that turn into a fire that you take off in a run, in a sprint, just leap over whatever it is that you feel is a barrier, because that barrier, although it's very, very real, it is also an illusion. That's the duality of life.
Very well said, Jenlyn. Anybody else would like to add up? Because we have so many questions lined up. And is the first, the theme of the question, because the questions we are having is like, how can digital, empowerment can help us? What about our, political reasons because we are not having rights, These, we believe these are the barriers in heart and mind. There's always a solution, you can find it out. So that's why I asked this first question. And thank you, Ms. Jenlyn, for giving us this beautiful answer. So there are a few questions I would like to add. Let's go up. All right. So one of the questions from the YouTube participant is that, how can technology and digital platforms enhance economic empowerment in developing economics? Yes, Jen. Yes, please.
So the technology allows us to have the ability to learn and educate ourselves very, very quickly. And it also allows us each to have a platform. You have a platform. You're here today. You have some kind of device that you can turn on and you can push go. You can go live. You can talk about what it is that's important to you and start attracting to you other people that find those things important as well. Start bringing on people that you recognize have good ideas and are in a place of leadership. Start amplifying one another. You have a stage, you have a voice, you have a presence. Use it. Use it.
And Jen, you would, agree with me that when we started to jump into this crazy journey of finding the purpose, we found the purpose, and then we jump into this, wave of, expanding our barriers and meeting people, like-minded. It was not easy task to start with, not at all. So so whenever we start to do something, especially when we want to change our life, especially for our virtual presence, our presence, or economical growth, social perspective, it does take us to uncomfortable zone, which we are not ready to deal with it. So we have, so many speakers joining in from so many regions. We have Memory, we have Jacqueline, we have Eugene, and we have Achiri, we have Joyce. So would you like to share your perspective in this, like how to build that supportive environment around us? Because there are many males listening to us. Number two, we all agree that we are not in competition with you, but we want equal participation so that we can, bring prosperity, divine feminine, divine masculine energy. So, it goes hand in hand. We need to understand that as well. So we have, different wonderful persona. Would you like to add something in this so that the audience understand why this conversation is important?
May I please speak?
Please.
May I talk? It's something I mentioned in my small biography. It's a personal experience that happened with me. I built my career over 10 years in the banking sector. I was promoted many times, and I was about to be the manager of the branch. And I was very, very, very close to that, and I was supposed to be nominated for that. And what happened back then is I was called from the regional manager, and he said, you cannot reach more than what you are now. Women cannot be in a managerial position. And he mentioned my name to the HR, and they actually laid me off from my job just because he wanted a male to reach that position. So all the efforts I did for 10 years, all what I worked for, I lost it in 1 second just because I'm a woman. And to be honest, it took me like 1 year to overcome what happened with me, to overcome asking why I wasn't given the opportunity. Why am I treated so? Unfortunately, in the Middle East, I'm not the only one. Not only in Lebanon, maybe in Lebanon we are maybe better than other countries, but no idea why they look at us in a lower way. Why our potential is a threat for me? And after 1 year, and after I recapped my life and started over, I noticed that our power is a threat for men. They see us as a threat. They don't see us as opportunity. They don't see us as someone who will complete and who can do changes. Although we all know that women, they are stronger in everything, in their house, in their families, with their kids. They are multifunctional. They can be everything they want, everything. We can hold any pressure and we can be successful. And that is the threat for them, because if we do reach like that, for them, they will become less. They will feel they are less, although it's not true. Although we can be a mutual power. Yani we can become a bigger power if combined. If we can reach, maybe my opinion will lead to ideas that no one ever seen. So why cutting us from the community, or why limiting us and not allowing us to become who we can really be?
Well said, Ms. Jacqueline. Yes, Ms. Achiri?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Ms. Achiri is going to join us next.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. One of the greatest problems women have is fear. Women really fear the fact that they cannot do it. Sometimes because of cultural barriers or because of cultural stereotypes, they feel inferior to men. So at a point, they feel that, the public will not applaud what I'm doing. Because of public opinion and applauding their single steps is what hinders women from advancing. But in as much as they get themselves empowered day by day, men feel that they are a threat because they now step up and speak up not only for themselves, but also for other women in their communities. Because I believe that when a woman stands to speak up for herself, she's speaking for other women because they are facing similar or similar challenges within the community or within the society. So thank God, beautiful enough, there is advancement in technology that has given women a platform to scale. They'll be able to send out or sell their ideas, sell out their resources, and sell out some of the things they can do in order to get themselves equipped, not only financially, but also educationally. Technology has offered a platform where women can train themselves even at home, though they are considered as stay-at-home moms, though considered as commodities, but they can take this or use this as an advantage. Even at home, they can learn. Even at home, they can also make changes that can affect their communities and also their own lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Achiri. Jen, would you like to add?
This is why it's so important for us to step into those areas of really entrepreneurship. The systems that exist systemically are not designed for us. It's like trying to squeeze ourselves as a square peg into a round hole. That's why creating and co-creating together systems that do house us, that do elevate us, that do make the reach go out, makes it strong enough that as the systems fail and crumble, we have systems that are sustained and they become the new normal, right? We're not trying to fit into the system is the wrong approach. Innovation is the key word here. Create what it is that you know that you can, and you start there.
Yeah, that's really true, Jen.
Yes,
And
Amahin, if I may add one more thing to follow
yes,
up
Ms.
on
Penelope.
Jacqueline. Yeah, so basically, I feel like for years, one scenario of leadership and decision making has been imposed on us as women. Yet this scenario was created by men for men, and men lead from a position of power, from pure rationality that is not always flexible and appealing to women. Meanwhile, women lead from a place of empathy and a place of heart. And this is why I totally agree with Jacqueline, because there's no one style of leadership and there's no one style of being in power and in decision-making positions. We have to create our own styles and our own pathways in order to achieve leadership positions with a woman mindset, not with a man's mindset. And by doing that, little by little, we can reshift the perspective that the society have on leadership and people in power.
Yes, Penelope, yes. And it's not just, I think, in the Middle East or in South Asian territory. I think as a whole,
Totally, it's everywhere.
yeah, it's everywhere, and everybody is kind of complaining because situations are different, but the root cause are the same, and we genuinely now this is the time we are all learned, and I believe men and women are quite mature enough to have a conversation right now, and it's so easy to communicate from one side to another. The one prospect which is missing right now is it's very difficult to find time to make people listen. I think they're everywhere. So what we can do right now, maybe it's like one step at a time that we make people listen. We start uncomfortable conversations from home, dinner table, tea time, friends, colleagues, so that,
I totally agree.
yeah, but it's very hard to make people listen to you because I believe in one thing. Before, I'm not that old, but I believe in early 90s, there was not that much internet rush, but people were somehow connected. We used to communicate, we used to talk. But since we have a lot of, information bombarded to us, we have a lot of distractions in front of screen time, we genuinely don't know where is the gap. We can see things, but we cannot observe things because we are stimulated so much elsewhere. So we are so much clouded. So this is one of the biggest phenomena I believe we're going to see very soon. We are observing right now, but you can see the cycle. If we don't stop it, we don't start listening, it's going to be very unhealthy environment to work with, very toxic.
That
Because
is, and you feel,
yeah,
yeah,
Penelope.
I just want to add that you feel like there's a miscommunication between two generations that are working together. And as I mean, I'm considered a Gen Z, yet I work in corporate law. I do compliance, I do risk management, I do policy drafting. So all of my colleagues are from the older generation, and they are all men in their like 50s, 40s. I'm the only woman in the team, and I'm considered young. So there's a huge issue in communication because it feels like we don't speak the same language. That's one. And two, we don't have the same perspective. So I think communication should be restudied between two generations, not only two genders, because I can feel like within my generation, finding a mutual language between men and women is becoming easier. Yet the true issue remains with the people that has already established the systems that used to be present before us.
Miss Jen, please.
It is such an important thing to bring up because there is a generational gap also that I notice a lot, and that is that Gen Z and Gen Alpha a lot tend to think that they skip over Gen X and and they go straight to Boomer. And the boomer generation comes from the silent generation. It's our grandparents and it's our parents, right? And so it's kind of a part of that is this gap in between generations that skipped over because we were the defiant ones, right? You as a Gen Z are the product of what people in the 70s were fighting for, what I've marched for in my lifetime as a young woman. You are the epitome. You all, as Gen Z and Gen Alpha, you are the result of that. Men that are over their 50s and in their 60s and the 70s and the men that are in power, they didn't want that. They didn't work for that. They didn't march for that. They do not want that change. They're set and they know what it is that they've worked for, and you're a threat to that equaling out, and we're a threat to that generationally. Men understand generational wealth much more than women do because they're taught They are taught, and they're also encouraged to do what needs to be done, to think in those bigger ways, to have assets that are paying for the business, and you're not. To be an actual business owner and CEO means that you are not working in your business. Most of the time when we start into entrepreneurship, all we're really doing is actually owning our job. And there is a huge difference between, are you owning your job or are you running a business? And are you making these huge asset changes to be able to create that communal and generational, wealth? And so it's just like, you could talk about that for a year, I think. But I think that the biggest thing for is to realize that you do have the ability to start something, and people are going to tell you, and it's going to be the people that are closest to you. They're going to tell you to sit down. They're going to tell you to shut up. They're going to tell you that you can't do that. They're going to tell you that you're going to have all of this strife and trying to make this change, and what good is it going to be? And you're going to feel that way. And we create so much of our identity around what it is that we're doing. That's one reason that purpose is so important. And it has to be coming from your inside core. To understand what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it, so that when test of resilience comes, or when you need to be able to really stand still as a mountain, firm in what it is that you're doing, because you know that it can be successful, because you know that you're making a difference, right? You're the only one that can fill all of those gaps and those voids for yourself and within yourself.
So that's very beautifully quoted, very beautiful quoted. Yes, Achiri.
Okay. Thank you very much once again. I think women need to work hard to prove their worth. To an extent, the issue of women empowerment sometimes is hindered because the male counterparts cannot really see what the women are doing. What am I saying? I work in the construction sector, a sector that is dominated by men. And in a team of 5, maybe I'm alone as a woman. And sometimes I'm being hindered from performing certain duties because I'm a woman. To an extent, I'm enjoying my femininity, my feminism, but I don't want to take that as an advantage because I have to practice my profession. So if a task is given and I can execute my task excellently, the intellectual part of it is intact, the professional and practical part of it is intact, then my respect is given. What most of the times they want is they want you to prove that you can actually do it, though as a woman. For example, if you're given sand, maybe cement, concrete, and you need to do the handwork, mixing and all whatnot, sometimes it's very difficult and they might term it as hard for a woman to do. But if in front of a man or that great team, you are able to do the mixing and all what without the aid of a machine, give the correct, you present the corrections and the right quantities on how that is supposed to be done, you realize that, hey, everyone will be amazed. And they keep asking themselves, wow, is this really a wonder? Because of that, they feel like, oh, so a woman too can do that. And because of that, women are being given their place. Day in, day out, we find more women being encouraged to get into such professions, a profession that was termed a profession for men. And today we are succeeding and learning from other great women who have been able to succeed in that profession, and we are really admiring them. So one thing I'll tell women is, let's learn and read the success stories of other women. Let's also get mentored, where you're mentored by a woman or someone who has been in a particular space for some time and understands the ABCs of that space. She will be able to drill you in that space, and definitely success will be your portion. It's all about a woman supporting woman initiative. When a woman is able to hold the hand of one woman, definitely the next woman will hold the hand of the other. And before
I think we have lost Miss Achiri due to network. I think we should conclude this conversation with one more point. I'm continuously reading at YouTube and Zoom. We have a lot of participants from Afghanistan as well. So of course, the nature of problem they're facing when it's come to women's rights, it's quite different than that of what everybody else is going through. But one of the things, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, those of you who are listening, and I would like to hear from other speakers as well in such way. Going through different situations and mindset, especially where is male dominancy and when you have to find the rights, you need to get help from the male. It's not just female who is voicing up. You need to have a partner, a support, a friends, a family system, male who are supporting you. So understand that women and men are not competitors. They are bridging each other. They're completing each other. It's very important. And the one aspect I told before is to listen, to have that conversation. So when there is a true conversation going on, when you are truly listening to each other, you find solution out there. You go out of the way to solve that solution. But the problem is that everybody's hearing but not listening. Everybody is talking, they're not having the conversation. So you need to find that first thing around you. Once you find out, you will have solution. Complaining, looking for a miracle, it will never happen. It will never happen to you. So God is going to help you if you're going to first help yourself. Universe is going to help you if you get into that alignment. So you need to find yourself that way. It's very important. And eventually, I give you my example. When I started this crazy journey, I did not know what I'm doing. I used to complain. I used to cry my heart out because I didn't know what I'm doing. But I had one problem. I used to say yes for every opportunity, any minor opportunity. So that problem was actually become a right opportunity for me to grow and learn. So right now you have one opportunity: connect, learn, find opportunity. Move one opportunity to second opportunity, grow yourself. Eventually you'll find a way where you'll be comfortable enough to find new opportunity for yourself, which truly aligns to yourself. So these are the mini steps. I swear, for every problem solution, this is the step. And those of us who are sitting here, I can tell you, you have to sit with us for hours. We will tell you our journey, how difficult and challenging it was, how gracefully we carried ourselves and we believed in ourselves. We did not believe in miracle, but in our hard work. And we truly aligned ourselves. We were tapping each other's shoulders. Okay, we're doing good. We can do it one more time. It's difficult. It's difficult. And as a woman, I'm telling you, I tell everybody, even the male, I'm sorry, I got so much support from male, but let me tell you, the male from whom I got the support, I'm blessed with. But there are many males out there, they don't understand our difficulties. You have to do one thing and you will get recognized. We have to do 1,000 things for that one thing to get ourselves noticed, not even recognized. So we have to, fulfill a huge gap to do that one notice. So you need to understand, when we are complaining, we are not whining about it. We are genuinely telling you we are feeling it. And you should feel it too. And what you can do, as you can understand us, find ways for supporting females around you. Respect is everything. So olden times, there was respect. That's why we grew up together. If now we don't find respect, I don't think so we're going to grow together. We're going to fight because eventually we fill up. So this is the small things that we can do and what we try to implement in our community. All the successful people have that. And I'm sure Jen and Penelope would agree with me and Jacqueline that, we feel these things around us. So Jen, would you like to add something? Because I don't see any of the speakers turning on their video.
Yeah, I have, one of the things that we can do to work together very slowly is to rebuke. And rebuke means to turn around and turn away from. So when the system is demanding that you do a million things to get right, do we have to work hard? Absolutely. But it needs to be focused. It needs to be centered. It needs to be guided and guarded and protected. You need to be very clear what it is that you're doing, how you want to do it, and how you're going to get there. And one of the things that we can do is refuse to play the games. We can refuse to fall into the ruts that already exist. And one way that we can do that is by changing how it is that we do work together. And one of those things is collaboration over competition. It is saying that I see you and I see the unique part of you. It doesn't matter if you're doing the same exact thing that I'm doing. First of all, if that's the case and we're doing it exactly together, let's partner. Let's come in and bring something in together where it's a we instead of an I. And even if you still want to keep it in an I, you can still promote one another. Pay the cost of, like I said, before, when you see somebody has a product or a service, pay for it, elevate it, remind women that you're worth it. Say to one another, you know what? I don't even think that you're charging enough. Right? So that we put those little seeds that we are worthy and that we decide what that worth is. And you're going to lose friends, you're going to lose people, you're going to lose opportunities, you're stumbling out there, right? You're stumbling along, but everybody is. And the most beautiful thing to me, I think, is that when you are constantly having to educate people because you're creating something new, look at that as a sign that what you're doing really is different. And the reason that you're having to educate people on it is because it is different. It really means that you are outside of those constructs and that you're creating something that's new. And if we can look at that as a gift of something that we get to do instead of something that we have to do, it just switches that perspective. And we can have fair value. We can have fair value amongst each other with not just our money, but our time, our energy, our health. We all live the same human experience in the sense that we all feel the same emotions. We all have the same, challenges. I know that each and every single one of us in this room have had challenges that are worth lifetimes of challenges. But we are here. We are here, and that means something. So take an action today. Do something that you've never done. Turn on your microphone, do a video, stand up, go out and purposely find a woman-owned business to support. Start talking about rights and sustainability and what we have the right to simply because we exist. Not because there's been some innate value based on logic versus intuition, right? Or creativity. And it is about integration. It's not about a separation. We have to find a place of peace within ourselves where we're not warring with ourselves. And when we're no longer warring with ourselves, we don't war with the world.
Thank you, Jenny, for this. We really need to hear that. Miss Jacqueline, it's you.
Yes, first, thank you for all what you've said. Thank you for the motivation, and all what is said is honest, is true, and it's really a push forward. But what to do in countries that we have no rights? Yani, like what happened with me. May anyone answer my question? What anyone could do, like what happened with me in my country? I cannot even do anything. I simply left. I cannot defend my rights. I cannot go to the government and said that happened to me. There is nothing I can do. We are here a one man show. We are alone, fighting alone, trying to get up alone, trying to build ourselves back alone, and maybe we will never reach anywhere. This is the biggest fear here. Maybe me and maybe many women in countries where we have no rights, we face. Yeah, even if I try, I won't be allowed. Even if I try 100 times, and believe me, I'm still trying till this moment to get back, to get up back, to find the opportunity that suits me. But in my country, unfortunately, I don't have backup. I don't have support. I cannot even say or ask for my rights. They don't exist. They don't exist. No one will defend me. In any country, if you fire someone in any country, they have to pay you. They have to explain why they are firing you. They have to give explanation. In my country, and not only me, maybe in all sectors, especially the banking sector, people were laid off without any excuse, without any compensation, without anything, and no one said anything about it. No one. It simply went. We lost our savings, and no one said anything about it. So it's true. We keep on trying. We are motivated. We have the power. Every day I try. Every day I try. Every day I try to find new opportunities. Every day I try to find myself where I belong. But sometimes where you live or the opportunities given to you are very limited. Unless you want, I don't know, to go to another country and leave your country, which I don't agree with, because this is my country. And where my potential, I want to invest in my country. Why I do not use my potential in my country? This is my country. I love it. I love it so much. But I'm not allowed to grow bigger in it, unfortunately. So we can say words, we can say motivation, we can live with these words, we can try them, but I cannot compare my country to USA, for example. I cannot. Let's be realistic.
Jacqueline, may I ask, when did you get laid off? Not here.
3 years ago.
Okay, so
imagine. Yes, I got my promotion 2 days before, and
yeah,
the promotion was, yeah.
I know it must be really hard, but I mean, like many employees in the banking sector got laid off during the peak of the banking crisis in Lebanon. And it was the reason actually why. But the gender discrimination part is totally illegal and you can sue. I don't know if you tried to sue. Maybe we can like talk about this privately when we end this.
Believe me, Anna, I was laid off for gender discrimination. It was the only reason. I got promoted 2 days before that happened. I got promoted. I was to become the branch manager.
I mean, it must be really hard. We'll talk about it privately.
Yes, believe me, I spent 1 year feeling that all my life was destroyed. 10 years was gone for nothing. 10 years building my career, and in a click, it ended. It was very hard. I'm back. Thank God. I have a great position. I'm working back. But I'm talking on all women in Lebanon. Even me, I don't want to work for another country. I want to work for my country.
Yeah,
I can become who I want to be in my country.
I know, and I think you found your opportunity because, as we were saying, we have to tap into the force that is within us and to reshape our opportunities the right way in order to maintain success as women.
Yes. Yes. I told you I'm very positive person. I'm not someone who gives up, and I will never give up, and I will never give up on anything. And wherever I find the right opportunity, I will go for it. And whenever I can make change, I will be delighted. I know my potential. I know how God created us. We're never less than anyone. Never.
You know,
We're
Jacqueline,
complete.
I'm just thinking 2 points for you. Number one, the challenges which is coming to you, God is asking you to face it and
Yes.
fight it so that you can find ways for other. Number one, what's coming in my
Yes.
head. Because the funny challenges I ever faced in my life, I had to solve it forcefully. When I did, I found solution for so many other people because I fought it. I did not stay quiet for it. So you have Penelope. She is excellent in legal services. She would definitely help you out. Number one. Number two,
Thank you.
I really like your uplift that you didn't give up. You put yourself together and then you look where you stand now. It's beautiful. It's really
Thank
beautiful.
you.
It really
Thank you.
is.
It
It
was
really
very
is.
hard.
Yeah.
I
And
understand.
what
It
Yes,
was
Jan.
very hard, and believe me, God only knows what I passed through. I'm not exaggerating, because working hard and building your dreams, building yourself, building your careers, working day and night to reach what you dream of, and you see it in one click being destroyed. It's very hard.
Noted. Jen, after your
it
words,
is,
we are going to conclude.
yeah.
Please, Jen.
I just wanted to say that it is extremely hard. And I think that one of the biggest misconceptions that there is that that doesn't happen in every single country. Every single woman that I know has had that experience. I've had that experience. Things are painted as if they are one way when they are not. And what you're doing right now, Jacqueline, is what you can do, right? So even if it's just having the conversation with yourself in the mirror, if it's having the conversation with your friend, if it's gathering together groups of women, slowly but surely you push, you heave, you have the conversations, you change the mindset. This is a globally systemic issue. And we have to start understanding that the pictures that are painted abroad are designed to keep us divided by thinking that we are not all having the same experience, and we are. I have been fired without any reason. I have been let go without any reason. I have had many careers because I have been the biggest, right? I could go down a list, and Maheen knows even some things that I have been through, very, very hard things, even just to be sitting here today. I'm sitting here after I spent hours in a hospital for about 15 days in a row for some treatments that my body's going through, right? And different things. I live my life from a wheelchair, right? I know that we all have these great challenges, and that's what I want us to wrap around within our heart, is that we have the same challenges, and it is so hard, and it is so difficult, and it is damn shitty at times. Can we start right now in this moment and just begin to open our hearts and our minds to the fact that our experiences are the same, that we've all experienced rape, pillaging, abuse, denial, not being educated, it's sexism, ageism, all of the things. I know that I sit here and you all see an American that fits what it is that you think that it would. I live in a trailer house, which is it's a tin home, right? It's a tuna can, is what I like to call it. A big heavy wind and my house is going to be destroyed. I've had it happen before because we have tornadoes here, right? My earrings cost $2. My wig, because I don't have hair, cost me 10, right? Like, we just need to understand that we do all have the same challenges and we all have the same power and we really all have the same opportunity, and that opportunities, all of that starts, as you know, within yourself. And it's perfectly fine if you feel as if you're tired and you don't know how you can keep pushing and you feel like you have no space to breathe or to move. But that's why we're here today, to, create that space. And that's not inspiration. That's not motivation. It's real life. It's real life. We don't get to sometimes choose when we rest, or if we push forward, or if we're pushing forward through blood, sweat, tears, mud, starvation, right? We've all seen that. We've all experienced that to some degree, and some others. There's no doubt about that. But we cannot believe that there's division, because if there's division, then we will never succeed. That's all. And thank you so much for sharing your journey. I want to say that too, because it's so powerful. There's such power in vulnerability, and that's one thing that we have as women, is vulnerability, to be able to share that. And you're not alone. You're not alone in the room that you're in right now. How many women are in this room still? Almost 50 women. And we're all right here together, side by side, shoulder to shoulder, as a powerful force. We're not alone. And if you need someone to reach out because you feel like you're alone, we have the ability to communicate to each other across space and time. It doesn't exist. Please reach out to me, connect with me. Let me be a sister in arms, that we are in this together.
Thank you, Jenny. And I am the testament of her words. She's always one call away. No matter what she is facing, she's always one call away. She is genuine support, and she's a genuine mentor. She's always there to guide you. So with that, I think if we want to talk, we can talk till morning. It's okay for us because it's helped us to open up our heart. We are going to conclude now, and I would like to add a few things. That in the month of April, in our 4th anniversary, we are going to come up with some programs in which we're going to give you skills through which you can find your purpose, find what you want to do, and we will give you opportunity to collaborate with different organizations, especially the mentors who are in. We are going to request them to give you time one more time. So they will be there to, answer you, guide you, especially Ms. Jen would be always there. And when it's come to business and entrepreneurship, she is the one. So for the economic empowerment, this is the announcement I really wanted to do. We are coming up with workshop. We are coming up with networking sessions. Please prepare yourself in such a way you have good 3 weeks in your hand. Think what you want to do so that when we connect, we're connecting with purpose and we are genuinely helping each other. So know that it takes one step and then it needs consistency. So within 90 days, you will feel that some change, you will see some progress. So please do not give up. And we will announce those workshops right after 1 week, because we are still working on it, aligning on it. And after 1 week, you will see the announcement. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for dear speakers that have joined in with their busy schedules. Thank you, Jen, for supporting the session. Thank you so much. Penelope, thank you so much, because I dragged you in this, and I will drag you again. I don't mind that. Thank you so much for this. And all
my pleasure.
All the interns, all the admins, beautiful fellows, trust me, all the members, each and every one of you, it's feel like you're not contributing anything, trust me, you're doing miracle work with us, and it's beautiful. I would really, really, really want you to stay as spirited as you are, because this is contagious. It will give a ripple effect, and we are loving it. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for, dragging people in for this healthy activity and believing in themselves and making them, a better version of themselves, including yourself at times. So we love you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll catch you guys tomorrow with our next series. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye, ma.
Bye-bye. Take care.